What up, though? This your brother Mike X.
My killers got them suits on like followers of Farrakhan.
And welcome to the 17 Winners Podcast, the realest podcast in the game.
I'm the jig in my city, yeah. I'm not saying they not good, nah. I'm just saying I'm the realest. Facts.
All from an inmate at the Michigan Department of Corrections, Muskegon Correctional Facility. If you feel you're being victimized or extorted by this.
As you can tell, I got a brother calling from the penitentiary, so welcome to another episode of 17 Winners with your brother Mike X.
To accept this free call, press 0. To refuse this free. This call is from a correctional facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Three-way calls are strictly prohibited in the violation of MDOC policy. Thank you for using GTL.
Yo.
Hello. Assalamu alaikum. What's up, bro?
Perfect. Wa alaikum assalam.
Man, hey, great to hear your voice, man. I was just on social media talking about you because I wanted to kind of promote this episode before we got on because of the great news that I just got to hear, right? So I was telling my followers on social media, man, this brother just called me and delivered this great news to me. So we just gonna have a conversation. And I was planning on putting together some questions for you about it, but bro, I honestly was just like, man, I want you to be able to kind of freestyle, have this moment to kind of talk about where you are with it. And I'll just add as we go in, bro. So first and foremost, how you doing? This is the brother Joei Jordan for my listeners listening in, but I guess reintroduce him to the listeners who don't know you, and then we'll, I guess, go in from there, bro.
Man, I'm the grateful Joei Jordan today, man. Once again, thank you, man, for having me as always, man. It's so much great energy from you, man. And a big salute, man, for what you do and this platform that you put together, man. So I just appreciate you for having me today, man.
Yes.
As always. I feel amazing, man. Last time we did this, you know, the sentence was a little different.
Yeah.
Now the sentence is a big difference now, you know
Big
what I'm
difference.
saying?
Yes, sir.
It's a big difference now. Yeah, man.
Yes, sir.
I feel great, man. I feel great. I feel amazing. I can't lie to you.
Let's step back a little bit before you even go off into that, right? So what was your original sentence? How much time have you been in? You know, let's go through the basics, right? So how long you been in the joint?
March 11th, 2015, I was sentenced to a mandatory life without parole sentence for my participation in a home invasion and felony murder. And that went wrong, and the death of University of Michigan student named Paul DeWolf.
Okay.
God rest his soul, man. And before I go any further, man, I don't never want people to think that I don't think about that. My life is not based around his death. You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of the purpose that I have, a lot of the energy and anything I do, man, I remember this man because this guy I wasn't no street guy, man. It wasn't like I was out there, you know, beefed out with the neighborhood, you know, nothing like that. This guy was studying to be, like I said, a doctor. You know, he was going to change the world and save lives. So, you know, for this to take place and me being a part of it, I'm full of remorse, you know, on a daily basis. I'm full of regret on a daily basis, you know, but the person I've become today is because of that. So sometimes I'm so grateful for the person I've become that it's in remembrance of him. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Because without that happening, I wouldn't be who I am today. So it's bitter. It's very, 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 very bittersweet. But yeah.
I've never heard it articulated like that, but I definitely completely understand that. Especially in the sense that when you broke it down that he was going to be saving lives and changing lives, right? It's almost like I feel like I owe the world to be fixing or helping and changing lives because I pulled that away from the world, right?
Yes, sir.
Man, I feel you. So what happened? All right, you had a life sentence. You were sentenced to life without the possibility of parole for your role in that as an accomplice, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, as an accomplishment, as an aider and abettor, my first time ever, my first felony. You know, unfortunately, my first felony had to be somebody's, you know, demise.
Yes,
and I was sentenced to life without parole for it, and I didn't quite understand it. You know, this Michigan has this mandatory sentencing scheme, you know, and they're actually in court discussing that right now. But it is a real thing. Don't think that to any young person or young man listening, you know, that's thinking about doing something totally out of his character, don't do it.
Right.
It's not going to end well. And I'm fielding here with men that honestly, people think that most, like I told you, most murder happens in the first degree, and it doesn't. You know, most murder that occurs in our neighborhoods is street stuff, but felony murder is different. It carries a total different standard. You don't have to have malicious intent to kill. As long as you was present and you was committing a crime, you can be given mandatory life without parole. And I didn't know this at the time.
Yeah.
My lawyer did
Most
not do a
people
good
didn't
job
know that.
explaining this to me. And so here I sit for 12 years, mandatory life without parole. And so my diamond crafting and my diamond mining was a different situation. You know, it was I developed differently than everybody around me, than my peers around me, because I woke up every day wondering when the hell I was going home, or when the law was going to change. You know what I'm saying? Or what appeal was going to get me out of here. You know, I went to sleep every night without knowing when I was going home. So for 12 years, and that caused me to do some things. It caused me to make some real internal changes. Caused me to think some different ways. You know what I'm saying? And so once again, I can't help but be grateful today for what I've been through these past 12 years. And I mean all of it, the hard, the good, the bad, the struggle, the pain, the tears, the laughs, all of it.
You think you rehabilitated?
That's a hell of a word.
It is.
Yeah,
And I want you to break it down however you want to. Because it is a hell of a word, especially inside of a cell.
That's why you in this position right now. Makes you asking the good questions, man. Rehabilitation is a strange word because there's an outside source of to me. There's an outside source of help that comes with the word rehabilitation. Because that would mean that you was habilitated. I guess if you rehabilitated, that would mean that once upon a time you were habilitated. And that only happens through institutions, or like if you go into the military, they give you a certain set of skills. If you go to college, you get a certain set of skills there, right? As for me, I had tools in my tool shed, but they weren't sharpened.
Right.
And so I knew better than to be doing half the things that I was doing. So rehabilitated, I didn't have any help from the administration in this place rehabilitating myself. The men that were sentenced to life sentences in 30s and 40s, and myself and God, let me give the glory to God. God is all praises due to Allah. That's who rehabilitated me. You know what I'm saying? My own will to do better and want better for myself, and to be smarter and to make better decisions. Because I ultimately got the ultimate consequence that you can get in Michigan for a sentence. So I had no reason to change as far as coming in here and not getting in trouble or not making mistakes. It was literally the decision to want better and more for myself, and that one day that I would be released. So rehabilitated, that's a hell of a word once again, but
well, it's funny that you caught on to me saying that word, right? Because as you acknowledge, rehabilitate, the word, the prefix re is to do again, right? But
hurry.
I'm a believer that you don't get well in a cell. I got that from one of the brothers out here, Nick Buckingham. He's I believe he's the co-executive director of Michigan Liberation. It's another organization that's fighting for the ending of mass incarceration. But I got that quote from him: "You can't get well in the cell, right? Or you don't get well in the cell." And listening to you, you definitely sound like a person who would be productive and like are a different person than maybe who you were when you went in, even though in your own words, you were not already a street guy. So it's not as if you had built-in street core values that you carried that you thought were right.
Right.
So therefore, it's not as if you would need to have those core values necessarily restructured. I think you needed to be maybe find who you are and like get yourself some type of grounding and guidance. But I don't necessarily know that would have fit you as far as like what street guys need to get themselves together. I say all that to say. What, you had something you wanted to say? You wanted to add it?
No. Go ahead. I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you.
So I asked that or I say that to ask. You think you ready to come home yet, or you just? Or do you think you're? Let me rephrase that. Do you think you're ready to be successful coming home, or you just want to get out of there?
There go one of them questions again. That's why you get man, I'm so ready, man. I can't lie to you. It's the small things, like I said. The thing I was about to say to you is mentality. See, when you come and grow up in certain environments, you develop a certain mentality surrounding your situation. So it's not that you're a street guy. You adapted that mentality out of survival. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It is literally based out of instinct. First law of human nature is self-preservation. Yes, you are going to adapt and make sure that your life and your well-being is protected at all costs. It don't matter. Now, societal place its version of how you move and how do you think and the things that you do on top of it. But right or wrong, good or bad, you are going to make yourself survive, period. So that's what I was going to say in relation to guys with a street mentality or guys that we label as street guys or whatever. Yes, most guys have done what they've done out of a lot of guys, not most guys. A lot of guys have done what they've done out of survival. But to your question, am I ready to come home? Absolutely, man. I'm so idealistic, man. Michael X, man, I got so much. I got so many ideas. I'm ready to test myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready because that's what I've been doing in here. I've been testing myself. I gather 20-year-olds and sit them down and make them read. Well, not make them. I invite them to read books with me. You know what I'm saying? And I ask them questions about how they feel about life and how they feel about this and how they feel about that. You know what I'm saying? And I don't believe that that's happening enough in our communities. And that's something that I want to do. I want to change my family's financial understanding. Their understandings about finance, their understandings about money and credit and business. Yes, I can't wait. It's going to be a challenge because our people are stubborn, period. But these are the things that I'm ready to do. I have no kids. I ain't got no kids. I can't wait to reproduce life, man. Yeah. I cannot wait to reproduce life. And with a beautiful woman, beautiful black woman. I can't wait. You know? So it's just I'm ready for life. You know, I wasn't ready for life because at 20 years old, you scattered and you're trying to figure out, okay, am I supposed to be doing this? Am I supposed to be doing that? My friends are doing this. My friends are doing that.
Right.
What am I supposed to be doing? You know? Yeah. I don't like my job. I don't like responsibility. You know what I'm saying? But not understanding that the responsibility is what builds the character and that builds the success.
Yes,
not the other way around. You don't get the success without the responsibility. So it's those things, man, those awakenings, those small awakenings that you get, you know, in this cell where you're supposed to be getting better. That if you don't realize them, if you don't realize that what I just said to you doing all this time and they release you, you're just going to be right back to aimlessness and walking around society from place to place.
Well, yeah, that's facts.
Existing.
Yeah. But the reason why I asked that question the way that I did is because I remember probably at about 11 years, 12 years, I thought I was ready to come home.
Yeah.
But I wasn't. I was tired of prison, but I don't think I was ready to come home because the things that I learned the next 3 years are probably the most pivotal to the success that I'm having now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And that's what made me ask you in that way because, you know, sometimes you've gotten all the way there. And like, I remember when I finally did get to the point where, I'm done. I had felt like I'd outgrown prison. in the sense that like there's nothing more that I could do here. Like I've done every single thing that I could do here constructive. The next level of here is tearing some shit down again.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't no more
I get it.
building because I had gotten to the point where I had outgrown my level of building that I could get to inside of there.
Right. So there's no ceiling for me. Like as long as I'm allowed to learn, you know, for me, it's them, like you said, you reach them heights in here. You're like, okay, I'm ready. You done read every book you could possibly do. You done took every program you could possibly take you in. You know what I'm saying? And then you reach that zenith, and it's like, is this really the zenith? It is in prison.
Yeah.
But your mental capacity will never stop being able to take in and grow and develop. You see what I'm saying? And as long as there is, as long as there's pain still involved, you can only grow from that. You know what I'm saying? Or make yourself bitter.
Right.
You know, but if you're conscious and aware enough, you ain't gonna do that. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
You know that what you're going through is for a purpose. Ultimately, it's for your betterment. Ultimately, especially if you believe in the Creator.
Yes, sir.
So, and I'm sitting here struggling through that right now because there is this 25-year minimum on this particular juvenile bill, and so that means I got 13 years left. So it's like, do I really need this 13 years? Well, inshallah, I don't, you know. But if that happens, and if Allah allows that, I'm going to keep growing and developing.
Yes,
you know
sir.
what I'm saying? And I pray to God that I'm strong enough to handle whatever comes in that 13 years.
Yes, sir.
But I'm not going to let it discourage me. I'm not going to let it deter me from continually putting out books and music and anything else I can fathom up in here building.
Yes, sir. So what was the news? Tell them the news because I don't want to mess around.
The Michigan Supreme Court said that it is unconstitutional to give a 19 or 20-year-old mandatory life without parole without first finding the mitigating factors and circumstances. What he went through as a child, the circumstances of his case, his mental capacity, without first searching out whether he's deemed irredeemable, whether he's irreparable. First, let's hold a hearing to see if he is the worst of the worst.
Gotcha.
So, I don't think I'm the worst of the worst, man.
Right.
I don't think I'm the worst of the worst.
The thing about the mass incarceration thing is I don't believe most of us are the worst of the worst. If we're just being honest
Absolutely.
right now, like on this tip, like most of us ain't the worst of the worst, bro. So I definitely don't believe you're the worst of the worst. I believe you definitely are redeemable. So how does it work now? They're going to like start arranging court dates for everybody to get resentenced, or is it going to be like have they even outlined how this advisory board is going to go or whatever?
Yes, sir. Of course, the lawyer assignment, you got to give everybody an attorney, and they're struggling with that in their own way. But you got to get us attorneys. I think it's about 700 of us altogether, including 18-year-olds. So they're going to give us all attorneys, man. And most guys going to take plea deals because, honestly, all the majority of the guys I hang around got 30 or 40 years in, and these is 19. I got a guy here, Jab been here 46 years. Don Mega been here 47 years, you know what I'm saying? So these are the type of people that you about to let come home finally. You ain't got a bunch of young people in here who just call life sentences. Majority of these people are 60 years old, you know what I'm saying?
Aged out of crime.
And that's exactly. This is the play on society that they portrayed over these newscasts. Oh, they're going to resentence a bunch of murderers. Well, no, a lot of these guys was in here either as aider and abettors like myself, or they've been in here for already 40-something years and never had a shot. They've been climbing, and they just not getting a glimmer of hope.
Man.
So, and that was another reason I couldn't quit or give up. I'm watching guys that's, bent over walking, still live and happy, and so come on, man, who am I? Who am I to give up? So yeah, that's the process, man. And hopefully they get them guys out of here within the next, 4 or 5 months. Cause, they old. They old. They got,
and they're literally doing nothing but weighing down the economy, the prison system. They're making it more dangerous by just holding these guys. And for sure. What's also?
I know what burden I put on my family financially. I could only.
You have 1 minute remaining.
I can only imagine putting that burden on my family for 40-something years. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. And that's
So,
if they stay around or live long enough for you. You know what I mean?
come
Like,
on, man.
but
Come on, man.
I'm
Come
here,
on,
bro. So you know you can call right back.
All right, give me a 10, man. And like I said, we'll keep the energy flowing, man. I appreciate you as always.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, in 2 minutes.
Hello, this is a free call from an inmate at the Michigan Department of Corrections, Muskegon Correctional Facility. If you feel you're being victimized or extorted by this prisoner, please contact GTL Customer Service at 855-466-2832. To accept this free call, press 0. To refuse this free call. This call is from a correctional facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Three-way calls are strictly prohibited in a violation of MDOC policy. Thank you for using GTL.
Peace. What's the word, bro?
Peace.
Man, I almost missed hitting the record button. I'm sitting here looking on social media, man. That's one thing to get used to when you come back home.
Yeah, gotta be on point. Yeah, gotta be on point.
Hey, if distraction was a word, was a thing, right?
I know y'all got so much right in front of y'all, man. I'm gonna be like a kid in a candy store.
Yeah, man.
Kid in a candy store. I'm developing content as we speak. Actually, let me do something real quick, man. I just was rapping this, and let me just say, listen to this real quick, because you're recording this, and we just freestyling anyway. So
yeah, go ahead.
This song is called. This is the verse and the chorus. I'm gonna do it called "Why Not You." Whoever thought the days the water was off would prepare me for them level 4 days when I couldn't take a shower, or them shelter nights with mama would help me with the stress of living 8-man cubicles. A soup kitchen days was preparation for that chow hall. Wild dog, my downfall was being too young, moving too fast. I was smart as hell, but being impulsive can end up bad. See, all my mama had was NA friends. That's how my can became filled up with addicts, not even being dramatic. So I understand the man off the deuce, and I don't judge, jury, or prosecute. Growing up, I never questioned why I had to have a father that's an inmate and a mother who'd seen a few intakes. My preparation, though it wasn't proper, the little bit of street knowledge that I did have helped me conquer and survive what I'm going through. Show and prove. I see God standing here asking Joey Average, what you gonna do? I was forced to play my hand, 50 Cent. This here could have been many men. I keep saying, why God? And God's response is like, why not you?
Yes, sir.
That's all I got for you today, man. I ain't gonna keep messing with this.
Hey, yeah.
Take me somewhere, man.
Hey, but that was real. You had a bar in there where you talked about I can't remember how the bar exactly went, but it was like your daddy had to be an inmate. Your pops went to the joint, or was it just a bar?
My pops did 30-some years all together, in and out.
Hey, so how you think that affected you going to the joint and your decision making? Because my dad went to the joint too, and I've gotten to the point where I no longer fault my dad for how things happen, because I understand that my dad is one of the victims or one of those who failed to the systematic aim to destroy black men at that time, right? Like, so it was a concerted effort, and it worked on a lot of our parents. It worked on our entire community, right? So I no longer fault my dad and blame him. Like, man, you the reason I did this, that, and the other, right?
Right.
That being said, though, I also recognize that his inability to break free from the cycle that had wrapped him up probably had a lot to do with my inability to avoid falling into the same trap. So I'm wondering, what's your take on that?
Well, I'm in the same way, man. But I never was upset at my father, for being a street guy. Once again, my mom didn't raise me to, hate him or dislike him. It just was one of those things like he'd come home, make promises. That's the stuff I didn't like, coming home. And the whole time you make promises, and then you come home and you don't fulfill those promises. That's the stuff that sticks with us.
Yeah.
The system, we never understand that until, we old enough to process, adult behavior and adult things.
Yeah.
But my thing now with my father is, like you said, he's so engulfed and entrapped in the ideology of being this street guy that he's stuck in it. You know, my dad still sells drugs to this day, 57 years old. So this is what I'm talking about. The inability to change, or the inability to be able to accept change, is what I get upset about. But my daddy is a early 70s baby. You know, This was it was culture to do some of the things that he did. You know what I'm saying? So, and then I'm trying to break this curse. I'm on a generational curse. His brother's been to prison. He's been to prison. And then I get a life sentence. I'm the only boy on the side of that family who has graduated high school. So this is the curse. You know, I can't go forward thinking that I don't understand, or believing that I don't understand the weight that's on my shoulders to fix what's been in us genetically. I'm not saying we bad people inherently. We have a way of attracting ourselves to this system, and I want to break that quickly.
Yes, sir.
Because I have a little brother that's 16 years old. It's my father's son. He can't see this.
Yeah.
He cannot see this.
Felt you.
Cannot see this. So.
That's how I was in the joint. When I was in the joint, I would see little guys come into the joint, and my little brother was in the street, and I used to literally see him in them. And that's what was like fueling my work inside, was trying to prevent my brother, especially when it came to guys that was like from my area. I would specifically pull them, because I don't want none of y'all to be the ones to pop my brother out there. You know what I mean?
Right. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
yes,
I feel you on that.
Yes, sir.
What you think about to happen with you, bro? You think you think you're gonna have to deal with the next 13 years to get to that 25 door? Like, how does that work?
No,
or do you get the ability to actually get resentenced completely? How does it work?
Right. So I have another thing pending in the court surrounding the natural and probable consequence theory, which pretty much violates your due process right. They said that the natural and probable consequence of a home invasion is murder in my trial. And not that I knew that the murder would happen, or that I wanted the murder to happen, or my intent was for the murder to happen, but as long as a home invasion can end in murder, then I'm guilty. And that's not, a jury can't decide the natural and probable consequences of a thing just based off of probability. There has to be intent involved in this. And then the science also has come and stepped into play and said a 20-year-old can assess consequences when he is in gang or high intensity situations where he's with his peers and there's stuff going on. During a home invasion, I think your heartbeat 2 times faster than it normally would, during any situation. So there is the part of the brain that functions to serve, to make your decision-making processes, to assess, dang, I shouldn't do this right now because I don't want to go to prison for it in the rest of my life there. That part of my brain isn't even functioned. And they told my jury that as long as I can assess the consequences, and I knew these consequences, then I can be held responsible. And we just learned that that's impossible. So they had an element of my crime that they're not able to be proved displayed to my jury. So I will be, taking that back into court. Also, I told you I have felony murder, and that they just schedule oral arguments for felony murder for people who didn't have malicious intent. Should they get mandatory life without parole sentences? So honestly, man, I'm in this realm right now where I'm using every day to prepare for so that I will be ready, because I think this is going to end sooner than I think it's going to end.
Right, yeah.
I think I'm running out of time, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But I, honestly, like I told you, Michael X, as long as I can keep working out, reading, building my spirituality, developing my books and moved screenplays, everything that I do creatively, and in affecting people's lives around me. Because I didn't turn this place into my testing ground. This is my college, so that I will be ready to step out there and be able to see things and say, okay, I can help over here, or I can add influence over here, and I can be intentional over here. That's what I'm doing in here, man. Every day, all day. I don't take no breaks, so.
Feel you.
That's it, man. That's it.
Damn.
And I can't wait. You know, you say one of the things I want to go out there and do. I can't wait to go to the mosque, man. I cannot go wait. I can't wait to go because I was brought to the nation in prison, and the teachings, man, and the beautiful unity that there is to be had amongst black people in these settings, especially black men, and to see them black women and you watch the videos and the joint, you know, you see the structure of it. I can't wait to go stand in that and feel that environment.
Yeah.
So, because I've never been to mosque.
Did I send you the pictures from mosque number one over the weekend, man?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I just seen the guys, man. I seen a couple guys I knew, man, and that just made me happy, man. It made me smile, man. I showed your brothers too, so
yes, sir.
I showed the brothers, man.
I'm talking about, bro, to the point where I felt almost in tears. I was almost in tears seeing the brothers that I saw there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
'Cause these were,
yes, sir.
if there were 5 brothers who were impressionable upon me,
Right.
3 of them were there. You know what I mean? And they all had life without the possibility of parole last time I saw them.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
And they are all home in the mosque, man. And it was just like,
yeah, buddy,
amazing.
And it's more coming. I just told you, it's more coming, man. They coming, bro. They coming soon and fast.
Yes, sir.
They'll be home hopefully before the new year, man. But you know, it's a lie. They coming, man.
Yes,
These bro, you should have seen the energy. I think I hugged more guys in here on April 10th than I didn't hug ever. You know what I'm saying? It was guys. Oh man, it was a true celebration because you know we don't get many wins in here.
Right.
You know, there ain't many things to win about. You know,
brothers felt like they were dying in there. Like you were dying in there. Like
no, not
just flat out. Like
yeah,
I was just
literally were dying.
Literally were dying in there. Like it was
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
man. Like
and once again, there's this push coming from now, the legislature that people just voted in to not bring good time back, to not look at second look chances. So I'm happy and I'm so grateful to the Michigan Supreme Court, man, for being the people to step in because they're not doing it legislatively, to do it in the judicial branch and to step up and say, even Gretchen Whitmer, I got 3 guys in here right now, been in here 50 plus years. They getting their commutations. They dragging their feet, but they keep sentences commuted.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's watching those little wins, these lives get their lives back.
I don't remember that many people coming home when I was in. I don't remember when I was in the joint. I don't remember there being no. I don't know. I don't remember no laws changing or no decisions coming down that benefited a lot. I remember the drug law thing changing, and that benefited a lot of people, and everybody went home off the 650 up.
Yeah.
But other than that, man, guys was just in the joint. Everybody was just doing their time. Truth in sentencing.
Yeah.
I was there for the first 15 years of it, so it wasn't budging them first 20, 25 years.
Absolutely. Oh, trust me, I know. Like I said, my father was in that realm. My father, my uncles, they was in that whole do your whole time, shut up about it, lay down and deal with it.
Yeah.
But once again, this is no longer feasible. You are seeing the guys now, and then you're getting those guys that are from your city where you had evidence that he wasn't guilty and you hid it. Now those guys are coming home and they say, "Hey man, y'all need to look at this system. Y'all need to look at what's happening. Y'all need to pay attention. You having these movements, my American Friends Services, Michigan Justice Advocacy,
man, bro, no,
a lot of different.
Apple them would beat the odds out there in Detroit. They getting brothers back. I've been watching them since they got home. They've been getting brothers back.
Yeah, and it's more. And like I said, I got 5 guys around me right now that are pending exoneration. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Like,
organization of exonerees is out here fighting. Yeah, it's a lot more than there was. I'll say that for sure.
There was, for sure.
We a lot of times get discouraged about what doesn't exist, but like what is now compared to what was when I came home 10 years ago. You couldn't find. Most of these organizations didn't even exist. So,
yeah. Well, that's once again people like you going home and then never forgetting about the guys they was in here with.
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
facts.
it's people that's coming home and they're like, my brother's is in there.
Yeah.
And I know they're good people, and I know they're good men, and I know that they changed, and I know that, you know, they can be staples out here in society. They can be pillars of hope out here in society. So I'm coming to get them.
Yeah.
And that's just the bottom line, man.
That's real.
Bottom line.
I believe that was even a culture shift. That was a culture change because I believe that at one time getting out the penitentiary, you tried to distance yourself as much from that shit as you could.
Right.
And I say that because I have a brother that I'm really close acquaintances with.
Yeah.
And he's a professional brother here in the Lansing area. And he, you know, he about his business and he a real stand-up guy, man. And
right.
he is you would never know that he had any case that he ever caught, right? Unless he talks to you about it.
He don't wear it. I love
he
that.
doesn't wear it, right? And I can respect not wearing it. And the way that he's done it, it's like he's gotten to, because he called his cases, and I believe he went to the joint even way back in like the 80s or something like that. So he been like an upstanding citizen, quote unquote, for the last 30, 40 years in the community. He's like a overseer. He's developed a community group out there in East Lansing that watches over oversees the police and makes sure that they're I know
you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about. What's the brother name? Not Ronald Williams. What's the brother name, man? Work out there in Flint.
No, this brother here in Lansing. But
okay.
I bring him up because the brother is like a really, like, you would never know, and he talks like, you know, it was a thing that he didn't tell people back in the day, but now he's more vocal about because of the changes that's happening, right? I recognize him as a lot of times how a lot of our elders was like, I remember when I was in the joint, my mama would tell people I was in college until this nigga been gone 10 years. Like, college don't last that long. You know what I'm saying?
My significant other told her nieces I was on an oil rig.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, so like the culture even has changed from the mentality of getting as far away from that as possible to recognizing and I believe that's because we're recognizing that we ain't the ones who got us here. This ain't our fault, man. Like, to a large extent, I believe that I committed my crime and I got myself in the joint, right?
Absolutely.
But the circumstances that made me commit the crime made me think that made sense.
Absolutely.
That wasn't created by me.
Like I tell you, that's not my situation,
right.
You know, but I've met so many guys that's their situation. They were responding to their circumstances and their environment, period. You know what I'm saying? I went out and created mischief. I didn't have to create mischief. You know, I didn't have to. I'm smarter than that. I had opportunities handed to me. And this was, like I said, this was the more bitter part about my story. It's like, damn, now I'm sitting in a cell. I could have been in college. I was in college. I could have did this. I could have did that. I could have took so many different routes. And it's happened, you know. And then my roommate or my bunkie is a guy that his mom was a heroin addict. His mom was still on heroin. He had to provide for his little brother, little sister. His sister had 6 kids, so he had to provide for her. And he out here robbing and scheming or doing whatever he's doing in that name. You see what I'm saying? That's those circumstances. Public housing, not being able to get to school the way, you know, it's so much that'll add up to a person's snap.
Making, bad
for them
decision.
to change their mind. Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. No, not a bad decision. The decision that
I was just going to say, not even bad decisions.
That had to be made, you know, especially now. And then we find out that the statistic is that the 19 and 20-year-olds or the people under 25 whose brains haven't developed are 70% of your lifer population. You see what I'm saying? And so now we know that Deborah LaBelle wrote a brief prosecutor Deborah LaBelle wrote a beautiful brief, and she spoke about this. She said, "This is what you call racial disparity.
You have 1 minute remaining.
This is what you call racial disparity. When you target a group of people, and then that group of people becomes your majority. Hey, come on, man. The numbers don't lie.
The numbers don't lie.
Once again, the numbers don't lie. But here we are, man. And once again, I appreciate you, man. I tip my hat to you. And it's all love on this side, man.
Yes, sir. Hey, man. Well,
I'm
we'll stay in touch, bro. Congratulations. I will look forward to hearing from you again. We'll talk in the future. Of course, we got other stuff going on, me and you. But, bro, I don't want this phone to hang up before me saying that, man. I appreciate you coming and helping my listeners understand what's actually going on with that new decision as well. So,
yes, sir.
Hopefully, inshallah, everything happens in the favor that's supposed to happen for you, God.
Alhamdulillah, man. Absolutely, man. Assalamu alaikum, black man. I'll catch you soon, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Love, brother.
All right, bro. Peace.
Man, that's another episode of 17 Winners Podcast, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I got more for you coming up. Free to real.